So, you want to know more about cybersecurity? Well, you're in the right place because that is exactly what we'll be discussing in today's video. We'll be going through what cybersecurity is, why it's needed today more than ever, and the top certifications you can get as a beginner going into cybersecurity. If you need to skip to a specific section, there's timestamps down below, so feel free to do so. However, I recommend if you're new to cybersecurity, stay throughout the whole video because you'll gain lots of knowledge that you might have not known before. So, what is cybersecurity? Essentially, cybersecurity's core function is to protect the devices we all use. So for example, smartphones, laptops, tablets, and computers. And then the services we access both online and at work from theft and damage. Everyone who is connected to the internet needs cybersecurity. This is because most cyber attacks are automated and aim to exploit common vulnerabilities rather than specific websites or organizations. Cybersecurity is also often confused with information security, so if you're searching these terms, you may see them together in the same paragraph or talked about in the same sentence. However, there is a clear distinction. Cybersecurity focuses more on protecting computer systems from unauthorized access or being otherwise damaged or made inaccessible, whereas information security is more of a broader category that protects all information assets, whether in hard copy or digital form. So it's good to know at the beginning of your cybersecurity career, if that's what you're going into, what the clear definitions of both terms are, as you'll be hearing them a lot. So just to give you an example of some types of cyber attacks, or just some key terms that you'll be hearing in this field, we have malware, which is software that is specifically designed to disrupt or damage or gain unauthorized access to a computer system. And a type of malware, for an example, is ransomware. Ransomware is exactly just as I described for malware, but it's designed to block access to a computer system until a specific sum of money is paid. So that's just an example of malware. Then next up we have phishing, which is probably more common in terms of the general public will know about what phishing is. That's something you probably see in your email box daily. And phishing is essentially a type of online fraud that involves tricking people into providing sensitive information, such as your password or your credit card details. So phishing, a very important and very common type of cyber attack. Then next up we have DDoS. So that stands for Distributed Denial of Service Attack. And what type of attack this is a malicious attempt to disrupt the normal traffic of a targeted server, service, or network by overwhelming it with traffic. These three are very important and not just the three only types of cyber attacks or ways that people can attack an organization or an individual. They're just some key ones that I thought I would mention in terms of when we're talking about what cybersecurity is. So if you need more information, do let me know and I will create another video with key terms and important cybersecurity concepts. But let's move on to the next section as to why it's needed in today's world. Although since COVID-19, organizations have readily noticed that they need more cybersecurity awareness within their organizations, the GDPR and Data Protection Act 2018 has required organizations to implement appropriate security measures to protect personal data. Otherwise, you can risk substantial fines. So as you can see, these have already been around for quite a few years, so it's nothing new in terms of a requirement. However, it is now becoming more noticed that they need to take more awareness of this topic. So what are 4 important reasons as to why it's needed? Well, the first one can be attributed to the cost of breaches alone. That is because, as I've just mentioned, organizations that suffer cybersecurity breaches may face significant fines. So this is something they'll want to avoid. They don't want to pay out millions in fines just because they've not had something in place that they could have beforehand. Then, more importantly as well, there are also non-financial costs to be considered, such as reputational damage. If a company has a cybersecurity attack that they weren't aware of, this may incur significant reputational damage online, which is very difficult to recover from, especially nowadays when customer loyalty or the opinions of the people that are using your business are so important and it would just take many years for you to recover from. Whereas a fine, in terms of monetary value, may just require you to build a team overnight and then you pay your fine and you can move on. So looking at reputational damage, it's something that a firm may not want to face because it could take years to build that back. Then on the next point, we also have sophistication. So cyber attacks continue to grow in sophistication day by day, with attackers using an ever expanding variety of tactics. These include things like social engineering, malware, and ransomware, some of which we've already talked about. So because of this, cybersecurity awareness within organizations is increasing. Because of course, if attackers are getting better and better in terms of their tactics, we need to get better in terms of defending. So sophistication plays a massive part into why cybersecurity is very much needed in today's world. Then next, we have board level issues. So this ties in to some of the points already made, because as new regulations and reporting requirements come out, it makes cybersecurity risk a challenge, and the board needs assurance from management that its cyber risk strategies will reduce the risk of attacks and limit financial and operational impacts. So it's very much being discussed at the top that this needs to be looked at within the company. So if it's being discussed over there, you know it's something very important and will be demanded by them. Then finally, we have cybercrime. So just as an example, according to a 2022 study by McAfee, the world economy loses more than $1 trillion each year due to cybercrime. So because this is something that is increasing year on year, as we can see by research, it is something we definitely need to pay attention to and is catching the eye of many organizations. So hopefully those quick 4 points made sense in terms of why cybersecurity is needed, and if it did, don't forget to leave a like, and we'll move on to our next section in terms of what are the top certifications for beginners in cybersecurity. So current research is showing that the demand for qualified security professionals is soaring, and certification therefore is a logical way for you to verify your skills and knowledge and get your CV noticed when applying to an organization. So here I've broken down 3 vendors and certifications that they provide for beginners. Who we have is CompTIA, ISC Squared, and GIAC. Now, just before we start talking about what certifications there are for beginners, I just want to clarify something. So when we say beginners, there is really 2 types of beginners that we're talking about. There are real beginners who have no knowledge of IT or cybersecurity, and then there are beginners who may have some previous IT experience but none in cybersecurity experience. Therefore, I've got you both covered, and I will include one from each vendor for both types of beginners. If you've done any research previously to certifications in cybersecurity, you'll see that there are so many. So I've tried to include the best ones in my opinion and what I've experienced from hearing from people around me. So let's start with CompTIA. We have Network Plus and Security Plus. I've included Network Plus for the beginners and Security Plus for the people who may have had IT experience before. Then for the next vendor, for ISC Squared, we have Certified in Cybersecurity, which is a very new certification that has been brought out by the vendor, so worth doing your research into. And then we also have System Security Certified Practitioner, which is noted by SSCP. Both very good qualifications again, and I would recommend looking into. And then for GIAC, we have Foundational Cybersecurity Technologies, GFACT, and Security Essentials, GSEC. All these are very good certifications that I would highly recommend, and if you want more information on these, click the banner above because I have a full detailed in-depth video breaking down each of these certifications where I explain them all to you and what they can provide you with and what types of jobs you would be going into if you sit some of these qualifications. So I would definitely recommend watching that video if you want to know more about these, some of the top certifications that I recommend. Hopefully that's been very helpful for you and you've gained something from this video. If you have, please do leave a like down below and check me out on Instagram, which is iMentor with 2 underscores. I'm looking to do more cybersecurity content, so if you did like it, Please do definitely let me know and give me your opinion in terms of what you want to see and what type of content, because at the end of the day, you have to help me help you grow.